Let's do
Okay,
that.
good.
Thank you for
So
having
welcome
me.
everybody.
Yeah.
Yes, welcome lowhi. We'll just maybe start with a couple of introductions. If you want to introduce yourself, then I'll introduce myself. Mm.
Sure. My name's Leo, but my artist name is lowhi. I'm a musician, artist, and men's group facilitator. So I am the Asian men's group facilitator for Asian Mental Health Project.
Mm.
And recently I've started my own men's support group company. And that's open to men of all backgrounds. So in this work, I've done specifically facilitating group conversation with men for over 3 years now. So that's where I'm at. So I have a lot of time talking to men, you know, hearing about what works, what's painful, what's good, what's joyous. Um,
Mm.
yeah, seeing men in their full dimensionality, uh, all the light, all the darkness. Um, so yeah, that's me. How about yourself?
Good. And also you're a musical artist, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I love your singing and your voice. I'm like, oh wow. And you sing about mental health. Like it's so engaging and I think it
Appreciate
draws
it.
people in. Yeah. So check out Lowhi's Instagram if you haven't already and follow him. And yes, if you don't know me, my name is Carolyn Wong. My preferred pronouns are she, her, and they. I am currently in Oakland, California, or unceded Ohlone land, where I was born and raised. I identify as Chinese American, next generation, queer, gender non-binary. Um, and yeah, I do life coaching for Asian women and LGBTQ people, one-on-one and group coaching. I also do speaking on mental health issues related to life, career, relationships, and just how to live more in alignment, yeah, with who you truly are and what feels really fulfilling and authentic to
Mm,
you. So, yeah, happy to be here with Lohi and would love to dive into this topic around how to support Asian men in their mental health. And I may have shared on my posts where I'm coming from, um, my own experience in my own family, seeing uncles, my father, guy cousins, friends, leaders in my community, just struggle with their emotional and their mental health. And then also my friends, the coaching clients that I serve, I see such a common experience where a lot of Asian women and LGBTQ people sometimes are feeling really isolated in their experiences of watching their Asian men, their partners, or whoever in their family, just struggle with their emotional and mental health. And a lot of times it does have to do with family trauma. And oftentimes I do think about like, wow, like, like it is real, this experience sometimes for women, women of color, Asian women, LGBTQ people, where it feels like we're socialized to take on a lot of the emotional work, the suffering, the trauma of our families. And I
mm,
know that's not true completely, but I know that sometimes the emotional labor, the burden can be heavier on women. And so I just see the nuances in that with the people that I serve, their relationships. And how that Asian men in their life sometimes they isolate in their anger or their rage or their sadness or their wounds,
yeah.
um, and internalize it. And all these things around having to be the man, having to be strong, you're weak. If you show emotions, if you ask for support and help. So yeah, I would love to hear about your own individual experiences, how that led you to your work, what those men's groups are like, because you also serve one specifically for Asian men and then also just a general men's group. So yeah, I would love to hear like some of the experiences or common experiences and challenges and also hope that you see there. And then maybe we can go into like if you're in a intimate partner relationship or maybe in a family, like how to have those talks or how to be supportive. And then also vice versa for the Asian women and LGBTQ people or other family members in Asian men's life as well. Yeah.
Yeah, the first thing I think of is internal destruction. So um if I because I always like to think about things in terms of the goal, right? If what we're seeing isn't working or it's causing pain, destruction around us, what what's the goal? What's the peak of the mountain? Say we're talking about masculinity and men in today's society. And I think it's about men being able to really define in their life what they're willing to fight to protect. Not because family said so, not because, oh, well, this obligation has been passed on to me, but almost like we were talking about earlier, almost like what's that ritual of that transition between a boy to a man. I think in my own experience, and I think in much of American culture, at least that I see, that kind of ritual isn't present. So what you
Mm,
sometimes see is effectively a bunch of boys walking around. Boys not in the sense of, like people can be extremely high functioning
mm,
and very much doing well in society and in all these standard metrics. But if on the
mm,
inside, they haven't taken the time and effort um, to define like what it is they want to protect, like what legacy are they wanting to create and pass on, whether it's children or not. It could be just like what are they going to be in their communities. um, it without that definition, life is already difficult. There's like so many muddy things in life, and decision making can already be hard. But I think for men, without that definition of your values kind of upfront within you, it's so easy for the world to cave you in. It makes it easier to feel like, oh, I'm a victim of the world, right? And that's where that resentment can definitely build up, right? And then that's not fun to be around, right? It's like when that resentment starts to hurt the ones that matter, the ones that you've chosen to protect. That's when it
mm,
becomes that's when it becomes a problem, right? I
mm,
think it's this conversation around masculinity is inherently difficult because it requires a razor thin balance. So I'll speak for my own experience. I grew up very much mama's boy, so a lot of, I'd say, my empathic listening ability has come from that. But on the flip side, was very much a people pleaser for much of my life. So there was also the journey of moving into my anger, moving into like understanding boundaries, acknowledging my own frustrations. But for a while there as well, I just felt like I was angry all the time because so much was suppressed and needed to come out. It's only probably been, I'd say, the last few months where it's really like settled in, right? Where it's like integrated. Oh, I know the darkness is there. I've sat with it. I've conversed with it. Um, I don't need to overcompensate for it anymore. But it almost needs a bit of overcompensating for a little bit, right? For me to define like, okay, I'm all right with this kind of anger because it points to what I want to protect. It's an extension of my values versus, you could say, a disintegrated anger that is indiscriminate with who it chooses to destroy or who it chooses to push away. Um, yeah, and in relationships, that's a very touchy subject, right? Because I can imagine from the woman's side, from the non-binary side, that it's like you're looking at this man trying to find himself or like rebel in a sense. I think rebelling is actually a crucial part of finding self-identity. And it can feel difficult to like, oh, I want to be responsible, I want to be safe, I want to be good and nurturing, but I'm also feeling this rage, this beast within me. Um, so I'd say in relationships, that's where it's a mutual effort, right? I think as a man there, it's like understand the importance of that rebellion, but also understand that where that rebellion is going towards. It's not rebellion
mm,
for the sake of rebellion,
mm,
it's to create a strength that will last hopefully generations, right? Because then that's passed on as well. Um, and then, but also being careful, like where's that energy moving towards, right? I give this example of a man learning to exercise his boundaries, and that maybe he hasn't before been a very yes man person his whole life. As you're learning to do that, don't practice on your girlfriend. don't practice
mm,
don't practice on your wife. um, it's better. So again, this is about context, right? Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm following.
choosing to practice, choosing to practice that in not in your closest circles,
Mm,
so that when you develop that skill and you can bring that back into your closest circles,
mm,
it can be
mm,
uh, less explosive,
mm.
less destructive, and hopefully more balanced, right? Coming from a place of calm.
Yeah.
I know that was a lot.
No,
I'm
I'm
curious what
flowing
that
with you. Yeah.
I'm curious what that yeah, what that brought up for you.
Yeah.